Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
So that's who ends up winning the whole Ultimate Fighter tournament on Friday.
Oh, God, that's going to be a great ending.
Seriously. Fight fans, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Ultimate Fighter AfterBuzz. My name, of course, J10716, all over your internet. I am joined by my partner in crime, my ace in the place, my main shit staying here, Jerry Gilkerson on the other side here.
Wow, that was a hell of an intro.
Not bad,
That's
right?
my favorite intro I've ever gotten on this show. That's at Gilkerson Radio on Twitter. Tweeting out the link to the show. We're ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. And we come to an end here, man. Episode 12, finally the very end. Another season in the books here, dude.
I know,
Boom.
you know. We've already flown through 2 seasons.
That's right. This one was called Here For Myself, thematic to the end of the tournament for the guys. And no, not quite us. Not quite us. We're the team.
We are the team.
Yeah. And to that end, my friend, I want to add something else too. I don't even have a good intro for this. I'm just going to go
flavor.
with it. Yep. Not only we are here to celebrate with Nas energy drink. Maybe get a little nice Nas. Also in citrus, zero calorie citrus as well.
Here, I'm going to make sure it's in my shot.
Right.
Oh, let's line them up first.
There's that.
Wow, we have a Nas party.
A Nas party, Nas, maybe not a Nas show. I still think that's way too...
So what do we got here?
That's way too weird.
We've got the Nas. Which one's this?
It's regular Nas, high-energy performance drink with 210 calories per can, as if I needed it, okay?
Wait a minute, what else is on here? 53 grams of sugar.
Again, as if I needed
enhanced mental focus right now, though.
Right, yes. And then these nice white and yellow cans.
What's that one?
This is Nas Zero Charged Energy, high performance energy drink. 0 calories per can.
Yeah.
And let's see what else we got. Sodium's the usual.
I don't see any sugar in this.
Exactly, that's the point.
Hold on. Let's see this. Yeah, here we go. Nas Charged Citrus. Oh, I just spit everywhere. Hold on. Nas Charged Citrus for a little juice. That's it.
Okay.
It just ends awkwardly.
I was going to say,
which one should I have?
Well, you have your choice. But wait, there's more. Because we are also sponsored, not really sponsored, but...
We are sponsored?
Actually, no, this one we are sponsored.
Yeah.
We really, truly are sponsored by Bud Light. For a good time. Drink Bud Light.
Yeah, that's my energy.
They kind of even each other out.
Yeah.
We can get really high hopped up on the energy drink and then come down with beers.
Actually, Bud Light has the Nos effect on me.
Does it really?
Yeah, and I always like to ask, because everyone's got a different effect of, like, energy drinks are, what was that? Is that my mic? Sorry if I bumped into it. Energy drinks are weird for me. Like, whenever I have energy drinks, they don't do much. They don't do much for me. Mm-hmm. But when I have a beer, I have intense
You're
focus.
on fire. Is that so?
I have intense focus.
Is that after a Bud Light or just any beer? Or has it got to be one of the...
like, it's got to be that whole thing.
The whole 6-pack?
Yeah, the whole thing. But maybe 3.
Okay.
3 with intense focus.
We're about, I'd say, probably 2-3 minutes into the show.
Can we crack one?
Yeah, we can crack one.
We
are actually sponsored.
I definitely want one of those Buds.
I don't know if we're technically sponsored by
the Bud.
No, we are.
The show is sponsored by both of these lovely companies.
I have double-checked, by the way, guys, with the powers that be, the authority
I've always wanted
of
to do
AfterBuzz.
Oh, that's great.
Uh-huh.
What a way to end the show.
Well, this is what I'm saying,
right here,
my friend.
Stone cold.
Cheers, buddy.
All right. That's what everyone likes to hear when they're listening to a podcast. It's just 2 guys slurping beer.
And somebody's getting thirsty. And shout out to everybody in the chat room here. Joe Boza, Harvey Cast, who's saying that stuff is nasty. I think that's his opinion.
Who said that?
My man Harvey Cast.
I've heard that both Nas and Bud Light people have that opinion, but I don't think they should. I really
They definitely should not because they're sponsoring this show.
Yes, I've been a full supporter of Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light for, I'd say, about a dozen years, and I will continue to support them. And Saturday night, with the big pay-per-view, starting Friday night, but Saturday night I will be having probably 2 of those all together.
Oh, you wild man. Two Bud Lights.
No, 2 of what you brought.
Oh,
Yes.
2 Sixers.
Yeah, 2 Sixers.
Oh, beauty, eh?
During the pay-per-view, that's perfect. I'd like to hear from the fans, too.
Yeah.
I want to hear what their beverage of choice is
Good call.
to watch
All right.
a UFC pay-per-view.
What
or
are we
UFC
drinking,
card.
guys, this weekend here?
What do you have? So Jay, let's say you're not working.
Yeah.
Let's say you're just let's say you have Sunday just to hang.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What do you like? Okay, what's like the perfect night? What are you doing like to get ready for the fights? Like
get ready for the
what are you
fights?
eating? What are you drinking? What's going like? What's the perfect night?
I'm probably getting a good workout in early in the afternoon so that I can chow down on some chicken wings and some pizza, and there will be beer involved.
That's a movie, I think, with Daniel Day-Lewis.
There will be beer involved?
Yeah,
Should be.
there will be beer involved.
Yeah, but you know, if I'm if I'm watching fights by myself, the lights are out. It is Maker's Mark bourbon on ice.
Lights are out. Lights
go
out.
The lights go out, buddy. Yeah.
Lights out.
It's a party by myself. I got some pizza from Chibo on Sunset. Shout out to Chibo.
I had never heard of them, but it sounds like a name you drop.
Excellent. Yeah,
Chibo.
forget about it. Yeah, you got some ice cream in the fridge, some wings from Big Wangs, many different places.
So you
in LA.
indulge fully in every.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The best time to watch TV.
What kind of
is
beers are we drinking besides Bud
straight
Light?
Japanese beer.
Oh, yeah.
It's Asahi if I have a choice.
All right.
It's Asahi, and then everything else is a close second.
Nice.
Well, distant second. But anyway, let me get my drink here.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1.
I'll chit chat as you take a swig. You know, we can give each other signals here. Oh my god! If you're just listening to the podcast and you're not watching, Jay Tan just finished an entire Bud Light while hosting. Wow,
that was not forced at all.
that's the exact you just got 4 times the amount that Stone Cold does when he's in the ring and it just goes down.
Ignoring nobody here. Ryan Kelly is in the chat room. Marcin Malazewski, I believe. Jason Alves, sorry, and the homies Joe Boza and Harvey Cast.
Any questions so far, or nothing yet?
No, Joe's just talking about the 3 cards over this weekend. Crazy week that we're going into. We finish up this season here, bringing it back to bacon,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And we go into 3 nights back to back to back of UFC action, including the finals here, which is take it away.
Oh, we're gonna get into it right now.
I thought I'd throw it to you.
All
here.
right. My boy, Artem. Is it Lobov?
I believe Lobov. Yeah, that's how I'd pronounce it.
Artem Lobov versus, wait for it, record scratch, Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall?
What?
Wait a second. What? I can't believe it. I've got to have a beer to this. What?
What's happening? All right. Should we just talk about that development?
Well, let's start at the top of the show here. We got
Little teaser.
2 semifinal fights. Yeah, I mean, that's how it ended up, and it's one of the more bizarre endings to an Ultimate Fighter season. I have a thought on another bizarre ending to the whole season, the previous one, but we'll get to that. We go into the show here, 2 semifinal fights to determine who's going to be the finalists for tomorrow, in fact.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 2 days from as we're taping this.
Yes.
Friday the 11th, I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Semifinal fight, Saul Rogers and Marcin Warzek. Nailed the first name.
That is a great pronunciation.
Second semifinal, Julian Juicy J. Erosa going up against your boy Artem Lobov. So, what do you make? What's your thoughts on that first fight there?
I was not a fan of the fight.
Yeah.
Speaking honestly.
Winner was
Saul Rogers by rear naked choke, second round, about a minute left. And he implemented his game plan. He was much better than Marcin on the ground. He knew he was. And I don't know, he took him down probably a half dozen times.
Yeah.
The only problem I had in the fight was Marcin was working. I mean, he was working to not get choked, and it was working every now and then. They break them up and they'd go back to standing, but even standing, especially in the first round, not so much second round, but especially in the first round, Saul, his length was just a problem. I mean, Marcin's 5'7", and Saul's 5'10", and he just had a little bit better movement, and he just had a little bit quicker defense. And I think that was the only way Marcin was going to get in there. Marcin's build is much like Artem's. Like, they kind of look similar.
Stocky.
But Artem...
Thick.
Yeah, but Artem's... he really creates... he's almost got that kind of Mike Tyson quality where it's like, right as soon as the fight... Okay, I'm coming after you, and I'm going to step forward to you. Marcin kind of tries to fight a little bit from the outside, and it just wasn't working.
I don't think Marcin was in the match at all.
No.
You know... Saul kick-started. He started the engine, and it was all Saul that first one. Marcin was at least, I think, trying to get going. I was noticing in the beginning of the match, round one, they're clashing a lot. You know, they're kind of both jumping in with combos, and jumping out. Kind of, I think, you know, getting a feel for each other. And Saul was getting the better of all of those clashes. You know. He eventually, like you said, he got takedowns and controlled them a lot of the time with wrestling. His ground and pound wasn't really strong to finish. I don't think it threatened Marcin, but there was no question that, you know, he was in control. You know, Marcin was not able to implement any game plan whatsoever.
None.
Let's see here. We had, I mean, by the end
I liked
of it,
my favorite move of Marcin's the whole time was when he Saul completely had his back, and then he just landed a clean shot like this right next to his head. It was perfect. It was just right in the square in Saul's head. And it was perfect. I'm like, just keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know, at some point in the second round, I thought Marcin was going to go for it a bit more, and I guess he did. As you were going to step into the second round here.
Well, to me, it was just more of the same. After you had a minute of trading combos, a takedown. And Saul throwing lefts from...
Wait. My foot's stuck.
Hey, you know what?
I think if it wasn't Saul, if it was for any other fighter but Saul... okay.
So explain the reference, though.
Okay, the reference was the second round, right?
I believe...
The beginning of the second round?
Yeah.
And there was a lot less standing. And Saul had Marcin up against the cage for a good minute. And out of nowhere, you just see this confusing look on Marcin's face. But Saul almost reacted quicker than the ref. Marcin's like, oh, my toe's stuck in the cage.
His foot was...
And the ref got him... And just like they do in wrestling, you know, they got him back into position where they were.
Well, it's not like they even really needed to stand up or anything like that. Big John stopped him, and by the time John had his hands on him, I think... Marcin had popped his.
It's so weird to me because it's different than any other sport or one-on-one sport. You have tennis, you have boxing, you have all this stuff, but there's never a situation like I've seen guys in boxing get their arms stuck in like the ropes, but there's never a moment where you can be like, whoa, like. It's it's so quick that, you know, like Larry Holmes had got his arm stuck in the ropes and Mike Tyson knocked him out. Yeah. But that's not the only reason he did it. But it was almost the most nice break I've ever seen him. It was because I think Saul. Yeah, I think if it wasn't Saul, if it was anyone else that wasn't friends with him on top, they're right. You know.
The word
Marcin took a risk. That was dumb in my opinion.
Right.
He kind of assumed that they're going to break because my toe's stuck, but he left an opening and looked, and he could have eaten a shot, and that wouldn't have been illegal at all. The ref, you have to wait for the ref to jump in there. So I don't know how much experience you've had with that, like seeing fights at weird stoppages.
I think it happened so fast. There is one other moment that I know that I've seen on UFC TV where. A break has happened because there was a foot or a side of a foot stuck. There's a really strange small gap between the cage and the mat there.
Have they ever thought about changing that?
Well,
it's weird.
I don't know.
Are you okay? A lot of burps.
Yeah. Well, I let that one out. I don't want the whole show to go to pot here, man. You know.
I love it.
The whole with Marcin. That whole moment was so fast. I think that I don't think his toe was stuck in there much. because obviously got it out. They didn't really need to change. They didn't need to stand up or have a real break or anything, and then just moved on with the fight. So yeah, I mean, it was a nice moment. I'm glad that there wasn't any serious issue there, and it's really nice that Marcin's toe didn't get ripped off or anything. That would have been sad.
They need to do something
for
with
the guy.
Yeah, they need to do something with that.
Yeah.
It's a bad position to be in right there against the cage, but then you really have no leverage when like half of your foot's on the mat and half of it's on whatever's under the mat, and you're just kind of
I mean,
wasn't going to help him anyway.
I was going to say, it wasn't going to help him, and maybe unless Big John stood them up and separated them apart, then maybe he would have gotten a slight bit of advantage there, but he would have ended up.
Is that the ref's call?
Back there.
Like,
yeah, it's a ref call, and I don't even think that would be a stand-up like that. I don't think that would be would be the call that they would do. He would put them back if they needed to stand up and walk away from that space there. He would put them back in that position, according to the rules as I understand them.
Okay.
So it would continue on, but either way, I mean, certainly didn't do much good. Saul wins gets his rear naked choke. What? God, 1 minute left.
Yeah, and they're both chit-chatting back. Like they're both getting stitched up and looked at by the docs back, off to the side, and then Marcin's like, oh.
We'll go out for some beers.
You
Yeah.
had it on. Oh God, don't
Bud Light beers, no less.
Or yeah, we're gonna go for some Bud Lights. Marcin's
After I give you a nice shower.
Oh God.
I don't know where the hell that accent is coming from.
I don't know what that one was. I was trying to figure out what that was.
It was a really bad, really bad EastEnders London accent. Just blame it on the first beer there
or the rain. That's sorry. It's a horrible Milli Vanilli reference.
Yeah, even I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's it just comes to me. But yeah, they were like chit chatting back afterwards. Like, you had the choke on my jaw. It's a really good choke.
Right.
Like, man, these guys must really like each other. I mean, minutes after the fight, it's just niceties.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. These are two guys that were buddies, training together the whole time. Certainly not the first time we've seen something like this. And as Conor established mentally to these guys at the beginning and all throughout, you're there for yourself. Hashtag here for myself.
Name of
title
episode.
of the show. Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, I'm certainly okay whether I'm booking guys for our amateur show or just in general. I think that it's okay and it's good for friends to fight friends. I think it brings the most out of each other, and more times than not that I've seen this happen when I'm booking shows, both guys come out better for it. They come out better friends. I've seen certainly more shows, more matches where two guys have not known each other, had a great fight, and come out friends after that match, as opposed to two friends that go in, spar, and end up or spar or actually have a match and end up becoming bitter enemies. I've not seen that happen. And one time I can think of that happening in like commonplace mainstream UFC history or MMA history would be Tito and Chuck. When Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell were training partners.
Sounds like a Vivid movie.
Tito and Chuck. I don't want to think about that, and it certainly not with those two guys.
Well, it could be a good one.
Former training partners, but there were very different circumstances there as well. Of course, Tito was the champion at the time. Chuck was kind of on a rise to get a title shot. Tito did not want to fight him, said, no, we're training partners. We have an agreement that we won't fight each other, blah, blah, blah. We're friends. And Chuck said, screw that. I'll fight the guy.
That's a good Chuck.
It's first try. Never done it before, so that's that's my baseline Chuck.
Great Chuck. Enjoy your Chuck.
But again, I think it's good for it's good for friends to fight each other. That's what I'm saying.
Joey, Chandler, any of them.
Sure, okay.
They all can fight each other.
Joey Chandler and Schwimmer in a three-way UFC
Schwimmer.
match.
Do you ever see Schwimmer? No, I'm not even going to get into it.
Let's not. Although it is UFC related, at least. Shout out to Big John and Jon Favreau, season 1, that episode. But that's all that I remember. You don't know?
What?
UFC was in Friends. I think the first season.
Was it?
There was a UFC episode. Yeah, go back and look.
That's like 21 years ago. The first season of Friends.
I was watching TV back then. Yeah, we had a TV.
You had a TV.
Yeah,
huh?
we'd gather around this guy. Yeah, gather around the fireplace, turn on the idiot box, the bright electric.
Yeah,
square.
I was hoping you weren't calling someone that. But should we get off to the next fight?
Of course,
because I think the next fight needs to be talked about more than the first fight.
And ironically, it's the shorter of the two.
That was so much fun.
Julian Juicy J. Arosa, Team USA, Team Faber, versus Artem Lobov, a.k.a. Conor McGregor's BFF, a.k.a. What was it, the Russian Hammer?
Yeah, he's from Poland, though, right?
I believe from Russia.
Oh, wait, hold on a minute.
No, Russia. Yeah, he's from Russia, but transplanted in Ireland.
Because he had two flags. Yeah, the Russian flag and the Ireland flag.
Yeah. This one was a quickie. As I expected, I thought that I was afraid that Julian, as I said last week, Juicy J takes way too many shots before he gets the advantage in a match, at least in the matches that we've seen on this season. And I thought that Artem was going to land way too many shots for before Juicy J could get an advantage to capitalize on, and that's pretty much what happened there.
Knockouts pay.
Yeah. Juicy J playing the outside, looking for his shots, kind of stagger stepping more so than I remember seeing, like a stuttering, body movement action. Artem, for his part though, I noticed Artem had his hands up a bit more. Did that strike you at all?
I did. It's smart. I think maybe I didn't quite notice it.
Okay. It may have been just for a brief time. Obviously, his style being
very brief.
Heavy,
they could show the whole fight in the replay when they were talking about it.
Truly.
Yeah. How many? What was that? Like 45 seconds?
I don't know. I don't think they've announced.
I think it was under a minute.
Might have been.
I think it was under.
I didn't see the clock, but I know that they don't announce the times.
They should
when the matches. Yeah.
Is that a thing they do for everyone?
I don't think it's on purpose. I think it's just kind of these are exhibition matches.
Yeah.
I don't think the time necessarily defines whether it's considered a legal match or an exhibition match. Number of rounds does. But regardless, they just said, yeah, Artem wins, as if there was a question.
Yeah.
Because Artem landed that left, dropped Juicy J, landed another left. Two lefts. Juicy J fell back against the cage, and Artem was on him fast.
The stoppage seemed odd to me.
Really?
Because, not odd. He was done. Mm-hmm. But it seems, and once again, I resort to boxing because that's just my thing. Usually they'll jump right in, and you can't even get to the fighter. Mm. But it was almost like he wanted to get in. He took a knee. Mm-hmm. Who was the ref? Was it Big John again?
No, it wasn't Big John. I don't remember.
He took a knee.
I didn't Herb.
He took a knee, and then but he wasn't really it was almost like he was just getting close. Mm-hmm. And then Artem landed a shot. I think it was under the ref's leg onto Juicy J's face.
Really?
That last shot was a left. We could go back and watch it.
Okay.
And the fans can tell me if I'm wrong, but but it wasn't like it's get in there. I thought it's like, hey, the ref should be taking any shots that get in there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's just another side. But amazing knockout. Holy shit. Because
yes.
I love Artem. He won me over from the beginning. The guy is he's pretty much like a bad guy in any 80s or 90s action movie. Like, the guy has great one-liners. I don't know if anyone's feeding these to him, but his delivery the timing is perfect. Mm-hmm. He said knockouts pay. Christmas is over. Things just don't quite work. Right. But
he's throwing out catchphrases here.
It's perfect because he says it so perfectly. A little bit of an accent, and everything's just said so, and like a little smirk. But he's still evil.
Well, his big brother in the fight game is CMG the Great.
That's true.
That guy, the mouth on that guy. So I think he's
he's learning from him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So and
but he does it in a different way though. He's so robotic, Terminator about it.
You've got a hard and fast, crazy Irishman, and then you've got a Russian, a badass, practically Terminator cyborg like Russian, trying to be a wild and crazy Irishman, And I think that's the funny thing about it. Everyone has their own personality, their own charisma, and it's a matter of figuring out how to tap into it. I tell this to fighters as well when we do weigh-ins for our shows. Fans want to like you. They just need something to grab onto, And it's your responsibility to figure it out and to give it to them. And sometimes you figure it out right away. Sometimes you just know it inherently, or it just comes out. Sometimes you got to play around a little and figure it out. People go through phases of their their public persona and figuring out what am I comfortable with doing, saying, who am I comfortable. What is the skin that I want to be in publicly? And I think that's what we're seeing with Artem. Now this was shot over the summertime, so he was whoever he was at that point. And now we're seeing a different Artem. And granted, it's the show that we watch. This is all, roughly about 5 months ago. But newer interviews that he's doing now, I know there was a media luncheon not too long ago here in L.A. with Artem and Connor, and I forgot who else was the other guy. But by all accounts that I read, Artem was kind of winning everybody over. Like, he was not winning everybody over. He was stealing the show.
Sure.
And to do that at the same table with Conor McGregor, that's pretty good. That's got to be pretty fascinating stuff.
I really hope
half the fun.
I hope he wins. I love Ryan. I love Ryan. But the fact that the guy, I guess this is kind of funny. It's two guys who lost during the show in the finals.
That's a ridiculous.
I think this
point.
is the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
Two guys who lost at one point in the show are in the finals. Now I don't know if I think that's correct. I think that's the first. It's the first.
I don't know. I'd have to. Joe Boza, that's your first homework assignment for the day, man. Well, let's talk about this. Why is Ryan Hall fighting Artem? We just talked about Saul Rogers winning the other semifinal fight. What happened?
Well, I wish we had a sound. I wish we had a little soundboard for that. We could isolate that.
I'll record it later.
Dana's pumping up the fight. It's going to happen. There's literally 3 minutes. I know. There's 3 minutes left in the show, and they literally roll credits, and it's like, the end of a movie where it's like, and James ended up with Molly, and they got married. But it's
the title card.
Yeah, the title, and it comes up. Saul is. Because of what was the exact? It didn't say visa issues. It just said,
was visa issues.
They said visa because of it said it said legal issues. It didn't even say anything else.
Okay.
So it just says legal issues.
Yep.
He can't fight in the finals.
Saul cannot get into the America.
Yeah.
He cannot get into the United States. Hey, we're protecting ourselves from refugees and bad
Saul
elements,
Rogers.
just like Saul Rogers.
And just like Saul Rogers. And then Dana just pops in.
Yeah. And
says,
explains.
Here's the Dana. Well, Saul Rogers just lied on his visa. So he can't get into the country. So he picked Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall's a good fighter, and he's going to fight in the finals. And that's it.
Well,
No, it's because Ryan Hall fought Saul in the semifinals.
Right.
And it was a decision loss. Mm-hmm. So
majority decision.
They have to pick him. Apparently, that's the rule. They have to pick him.
I don't think it was a rule.
They just made it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no rules in this thing. They make it up as they go along or figure it out. Here's my question, though. Yeah, Ryan Hall, do you think that was the right pick? Ryan Hall? I'm going to go through quarterfinals and semifinals. I got the matches down here.
Okay.
Quarterfinals. Artem beat Gritzmacher, Saul Rogers, majority decision over Ryan Hall, Marcin Warchek, majority decision over David Tamer, and Juicy J over Abner. So we got in the semifinals, Artem over Juicy J, Saul Rogers over Marcin Warchek by submission. Both of them were finishes. Was the mentality? I think the line of thinking was that Saul Rogers, who got kicked off in the finals. The spot would go to the runner-up, essentially, for Saul Rogers, which you would think would be Marcin Warchek, who he just beat in this episode by submission. But there was also a closer match, majority decision with Ryan Hall. I tend to think it should have been Marcin, that they should have given it to Marcin Warchek.
Well, they're thinking a few different things. They're thinking, one, Ryan Hall, they don't want to silence thousands of people in an arena and have the finals with silence. How great would that be if that was the rules? You have two European fighters.
So.
I know, they got to quiet them down. So they wanted an American in there.
New rule: if you're on the same team, everybody shut up when you're fighting. No coaching.
Yeah, no
right?
one can say anything. So now you get that dynamic of Uriah and Connor in each corner. The teams are both going to be there, or guys from the teams. So they get the full.
No,
this is what they wanted with the show, right? They wanted USA versus Europe in the finals, and now they could make it. They're not going to put Marcin in there. They're not, because they don't want to see Marcin. Even though that was my pick, was Marcin versus Artem. Mm-hmm. They don't want that. They want USA versus Europe, and it's easy to. That's why they picked it. And Ryan's a likable guy.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
I think that's the dynamic, ideally, that they would have liked. So they just work things around.
But I
to
feel
do
bad
that.
for Marcin because
Yeah, me too. I'm curious though. I want to double check something. I think where
Jay's
is
double checking.
Yeah, and I'm checking on the
Scrolling. What are you checking for?
well, I wanted to see exactly when Uriah's fight is. I've gotten so confused.
Oh,
with
it's
all
coming
these
up.
three. Well, yeah, it's on the. I believe it's on the pay-per-view. I'm just taking a look here, and it must be on the pay-per-view, or rather the prelims that same night. So,
Yeah.
to your point that Conor is in one corner, Uriah is in the other corner, that is viable. Although it's the night before, they may not even be at the show.
They probably won't be.
Artem will. No, I'm sure Conor will be because Artem's fighting, and I can't see him not being there.
Maybe they contracted to be there.
I suppose possibly, but it's the night
So
before.
Uriah's on the
night
undercard,
before
huh?
an event. Yeah, I believe Uriah is
On the paper, or he's on FS1.
I believe he is headlining FS1 prelims.
This is going to be so much fun Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on Saturday.
Yeah.
Ah, darn it! I just turned off the YouTubes. Oops,
Oh,
sorry.
no. Well,
Give me a quick second here. I promise, guys, it's not the alcohol talking here.
it's the NOS.
It's the
He
NOS.
injected it. He injected it straight into his veins. Well, while you're looking that up,
Yeah.
I wanted to make a point of we never really hit on that Jose Aldo showed up
True. Yes,
to
indeed.
the fights, and Conor was kind of surprised, and I wasn't sure what his reaction would be. Those two have had a long-standing rivalry without fighting, probably longer than anyone. Is that that's one of the longest rivalries without fighting, that I can remember. There's a few,
Uriah
but
and
no, Conor
Conor
and Jose.
Yeah.
So but his reaction was kind of like, I don't know if he really didn't know he was going to be there. I don't know if they would pull a fast one on him like that, but maybe they did. But he was pretty cool. They're both kind of just sat there
Right.
and didn't say much.
Yeah.
But
Did you appreciate? I certainly did. That we had this first fight here, Saul versus Marcin Warchek, and you see
yeah.
Jose in the background
Yeah.
there watching, and then we go on with the storyline between the two matches that Jose Aldo comes in and trains with Team USA,
Yeah.
and then he shows up for the second fight, and
then
Conor
Conor's,
walks in and
"Oh."
says, "Oh, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd be here."
yeah.
Again, not the right
Yeah, I'm
accent.
not sure.
That was within Great Britain, I know, but it was a bit
And
too
then it
south.
turned into an old lady from England.
Would you like a butterscotch?
It was almost it was almost like Valley Girl at the very beginning.
Oh, hey!
I don't know what.
Yeah, he was surprised. That was my Conor McGregor surprise.
That's pretty good.
It'll probably never be
I
uttered
would
again.
root for
in
anybody
civilization.
that yelled like that. Oh, hey! But no, that was they obviously taped those fights differently than how they showed them in the
yeah.
final. But
Joe Boza is feeling your opinion. He agrees. He said Jared's right. I think they wanted Conor versus Uriah at the finals. Really?
wait, at the finals.
Oh, at the
Present.
corner. Uriah's in the prelim of FS1 on Saturday, so I got a cosign from Joe Boza about that. He is the main event against number 13 ranked Frankie Sains, I believe is how you say
Ooh,
it.
freaky Sains.
Oh, that's good.
Insanes.
Yes, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, then that's.
Have you ever heard of Frankie Sains?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I have. Yes, this fighter. Pardon me.
no.
Excuse me. Yes,
I'm kidding.
I have watched this fighter before. Not,
2 Bud Lights. He's gone.
I thought you were talking about another
Just
Frankie
in general.
Sains.
Just in general.
Yeah, I've seen him fight. I know. I'm not off the top of my head. I couldn't tell you, style or anything like that. He's number 13 ranked.
Yeah.
I can tell you that off
All
the
right.
internet.
What's Uriah ranked?
It's a good question.
Top 10?
I don't necessarily think so.
Oh, so maybe
Probably 10 to 15.
this is his last
I'd have to look
chance
it up.
at a run.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's his last chance at a run. I don't know necessarily that he's looking for a run per se, or that he's
Mini
necessarily
run,
expecting
like
that.
3 fights.
Yeah. I mean, he's wavering between 135 and 145. I believe this match is 145. I think he fought 145 previously. It was the Frankie Edgar fight.
Yeah.
That was 45.
I'm gonna have
But
some
prior
of this
to that.
NOS.
Oh, crack it open, man. Not shower! And you went with the caloric one. You went with the 210 calories.
I'm not going to drink the whole
A guy
goddamn
like
thing.
you can do that, man.
Here we go.
Not me. I got to stick with Bud Lights. Chug. Oh, you didn't even.
With Complex X.
2 sips and you were done, buddy.
For enhanced mental focus, we're going to see if it works.
Right.
What are we looking at here? We're getting close to it, but I'm just looking at my notes here. Another great quote: my flags are covered in the blood of my enemies." That's like something Dolph Lundgren would say.
And that was the thing you were saying about he's an 80s evil character. He's an 80s villain. The flags, what Artem said, what was it, the blood of my enemies is on my flags?
He said, yeah, my flags are covered in the blood of my enemies.
That is good.
Yeah, it's great.
And what was the other one? Christmas is over.
Christmas is over.
Juicy J.
Knockouts
Christmas
pay.
is over. Yeah.
They're all amazing. One other note I wanted to make before I forget, because I make these little side notes on my sheet, but the music in this episode I thought was awesome. I think it was the best music choice that they made during the whole season.
Really?
It was really, it like set the mood for the whole thing. Really heavy synth, which I loved. And it was like, I don't know, I feel like they just picked the right music. Good job, Fox or UFC. I'm not sure which production team or whoever chose that, but whoever chose the music, whoever the ultimate choice, great choice. I love the music. Go back and listen to it. It was great.
Joe Boza comes in. He confirms Uriah Faber is ranked number 4. The match Saturday is at 135. He was standstill because TJ Dillashaw is the champion. At 35.
Yes.
All right. So this weekend, let's talk about this here. We have three cards back to back to back. Tomorrow on Fight Pass, we're taping now Wednesday evening. Thursday evening, which was that? I believe the 10th, right?
Yeah.
At the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. Headline is, it's a UFC fight night.
Yeah.
Headliner is Paige Van Zandt versus Rose Namajunas. And
Paige Van Zandt. That's my favorite. Just to say that. Anything with Van in the middle is great. It reminds me of one of my favorite shows, The Shield, when they went by an undercover named Cletus Van Dam. That's all I have to say about that.
That was somebody's name?
It was a fake name. It was a
very fake name. Damn right it was.
Cletus Van Dam.
Even on the even on the Shield, they're all fake names. They're all fictional characters.
That's true.
But even then,
yes.
Paige Van Zandt versus Rose Namajunas. Co-main event: Jim Miller versus Michael Chiesa, which could be a really fascinating back and forth scrap. I think that's going to be a fun scrap to watch. Mostly on the ground, I would guess. Sage Northcutt, Super Sage Northcutt versus Cody Fester, Elias Theodorou, who I believe won Tough several seasons back. Was it not Smashes? Team UK versus Team Australia?
I'll buy it.
Canada, excuse me.
I'll buy that
He's
for
Canadian.
$1.
Versus Thiago Santos, Tim Means and John Howard, Sergio Moraes and Okari Akhmadov. Kevin Casey, Aljamain Sterling. It's not a huge card in terms of names, but it's just getting the ball rolling for the next night,
Friday,
which is the Tough Finals. Of course, now we got Ryan Hall versus Artem Lobov.
You want to get into predictions with that fight?
We haven't even gone through that one yet. Yeah, good point. What do you make of this match here? Ryan and Artem.
I love Artem, and I loved Ryan for the fact that he had like a wrestler's finish, like a pro wrestler's finishing move with what was that? His heel hook.
Right.
And it
I
didn't
don't
quite.
think any pro wrestlers do that.
No, but he just had a
By
move.
the way, Daria Baronato, let's talk about that. Not a bad one, huh?
Yeah.
We'll text about that, dear.
He was really intriguing. I thought he had a real shot at the beginning. In that fight against Saul, he just couldn't get that going. Saul's length and his defense was really good, and then he took a few shots.
Right.
But they picked the right guy against Artem. I mean, Artem's a 500 fighter his whole career. There's a reason. There's a reason for that.
Right.
So I think what's Ryan? Jiu-jitsu, black belt.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's complete opposite styles. I mean, Artem's a come forward guy looking to swing, looking for punches, and I think Artem's serviceable on the ground, but nowhere near
Serviceable in what way?
Serviceable meaning he can
hold his own?
He can hold his own, but against someone like Ryan, I mean, he was going to Ryan, as we learned, for jiu-jitsu help before Ryan got the news that he was going to fight in the finals. So I think Artem...
Friends fighting friends.
They're not friends. Artem's friends with he's friends with no one. I am friends with no one.
That would be... I am friends with nobody.
I had no one.
Except Connor.
Not even Connor. This is a really intriguing fight because Ryan wants it on the ground, Artem wants it standing.
Right.
Who's going to be able to impose what? I'm worried for Artem here. I'm worried.
Interesting.
Because 3 knockouts in a row. I just don't know.
I was going to
if you
say
can get
exactly
4.
the opposite.
I just don't
I was
know
going
if
to
you
say
can get
exactly
4.
the opposite.
Oh, really? So, okay, explain.
Let's talk about Saul versus Ryan. Ryan was going for takedowns. He was doing this kind of inverted transition, into heel hook position. I don't think that he's going to be able to do that because I think Artem will see it coming a mile away. Saul was having no problem defending against the takedown.
He's long. I mean, Artem's 5'7".
Right.
So maybe there's less to grab there. Maybe you're right.
Artem is strong as hell, too. I would guess that the Artem is at least as strong as Saul. He's stockier. There's less of Artem to reach for Ryan to reach for. So between that and the strength, I think that Artem will have equally less problem, if that's even a phrase, to avoid the takedown. I'm concerned for Ryan. I think that Ryan does any kind of any takedown attempt. I think he's leaving himself open for shots, especially those lefts from Artem. I think that Artem. I rarely go solely on strength and power, but in this case, I think that that's going to be the determining factor for Artem over Ryan.
God, I really have no feeling on this fight. Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to pick Artem to win, but it's like if I think if Ryan takes him down once, there's trouble. Like, there's just trouble there.
If Ryan's very comfortable working from the back, and I'm sure his top game is impeccable as well. You don't beat Ryan Hall without having a great top game. So if Ryan can get top position on him, I'm sure he can possibly hold him down and possibly implement a submission of some sort. Maybe get his back. I think if Ryan gets Artem's back, that's a spot where he's really in trouble. Armbar, I don't know about that. I think Artem can for the most part, 9 times out of 10, power out of that. But Ryan is slick, and a guy like that, if he gets a good grip locked in on you, then yeah, you could be in trouble. But that said, I think it's going to take all of that. I don't think that Ryan will have as much success from bottom as he had with some of the other guys that he faced earlier in the season.
You know what? You just
Twisted it.
You sold me.
I'm
going Artem first round.
I think it could be. I
thought about
second.
the shots that he took. I thought about Saul looked like a powerful guy, but I think in his punches he didn't carry a lot of power, and he dropped Ryan a few times in that fight with punches.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan might not be able to take Artem's punches well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm going with Artem then. I'll go with Artem.
I think it'll be the second or third. In a strange way, I wouldn't even be surprised if it goes the distance.
Well, I don't see it going the distance.
Conventionally,
Artem
it doesn't make
doesn't
sense.
Doesn't want it to go the distance.
Right. It doesn't make sense that it would, and I think the more that it goes the distance, is in second and third, Ryan's chances increase exponentially.
Agreed.
Yeah, but for some reason, I could almost see that happen. Then again, I see.
So what are you doing now? What's your prediction?
Artem.
Second?
Artem in the second is the result that makes the most sense to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. But here's the thing: in this sport, man, anything can happen. What makes the most sense on paper oftentimes does not happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that as well. Joe Boza is saying, I think Ryan will be a major underdog in the Vegas odds. Good question. I mean, now that
is this a real pro fight now? No. It's 3 rounds.
It'll be 3 rounds.
Good.
I believe. Yeah, it will not be the main.
So they're both getting some decent money for this, probably being on a card.
Well, it depends on what you call decent money. They're getting Ultimate Fighter
more than
money.
they've got before.
They're getting Ultimate Fighter money.
Okay, all right.
Which, yes, possibly is more than they got, but that's
Okay.
not guaranteed.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off air.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our finale here for the for Ultimate Fighter. We can talk about some of the other matches going on here. I mean, shoot, this that's Friday. We talked a little bit about Fight Night 80, which happens tomorrow. Then, of course, the big one, the big kahuna here. Let me see if I can pull this up here.
Conor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo.
What are you thinking with that?
It's a fascinating conversation because so many different factors have there's so many different factors, and not a small part of it is the span of time that's happened when this match was supposed to happen in July to now. Guys have had more time to study each other, although they probably had a lot of themselves figured out, or each other figured out by that point. There's been certainly more bad blood boiling and brewing in between the two of them. I'm leaning more towards Aldo in this one. I think that I know for sure we'll definitely see the best out of each guy here. I think that they're going to show up far better than they would have in July. Aldo, to me, has always been a guy that kind of rises to the occasion of the opponent that he's facing, you know. And in this respect, I think that, you know, we'll see a really sharp Jose Aldo because of this extra 5 months of time. I think has only motivated him that much more so to really focus and make sure that he's on point for this match. That's my only take on it. You know,
Decision maybe 5 rounds.
Man,
I mean, a lot of it. Three of his last 4 fights have gone the distance.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, as he's gotten a little older, even though he's 29, it's like ring years. As he's gotten a little older, he'll draw. I mean, he's drawn it out more frequently recently.
But he did finish. Well,
yeah, 3 of the last 4. He finished someone in the second round somewhere in there.
Right.
3 fights ago.
Joe Boza will pull it up for us, of course,
probably.
super fast. Yeah, and that's the thing is these decisions. I mean, Chad Mendes, it was a good fight. It was competitive, but he was winning that fight. There really wasn't any question about that one. Ricardo Lamas, I know that went to decision. I'm thinking about the Mark Hominick fight from several years ago that Hominick had that huge, mouse, not a mouse.
I call it the Rockmon mouse.
Exactly, yeah, on his forehead there. That went to decision. We got a couple guys jumping in here. Nick Miller thinks Connor's going to take it in the second or third. Joe Boza says if Connor wins, it'll be because Jose had a long layoff. It's been 14 months since Jose has been in the cage. He won at 179, defeating Chad Mendes. Yeah, and again, man, I think that was he kind of walked away with that one. It was very clear cut. What strikes me when you talk about it going all the way to decision, you know who wins in that one? It's the fans. I hate to sound like a cliche, but Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor for 25 minutes, dude, sign me up.
I don't see it going that far.
I don't see.
I got Conor.
Really?
Yeah.
Conor by.
I don't know yet. No, I kind of like the call there. You know, Conor can be sometimes a slow starter.
Mm-hmm. Can he?
Well, the last fight he was.
Chad Mendes. Okay.
He
all right. He got taken down.
He took a little while to get going, and I was a little worried there. You know, but I think I'm thinking round 2 or 3. I'm thinking round 2 or 3. I just don't know in what way yet.
Oh, he's not going to choke him out. I think it's safe to say Conor McGregor is not Nas to submit. Maybe
he switches it up.
I don't think so.
You know what? I'll go with
that Nas is supposed to help your mental focus, man.
Oh God! You know what? You know what I have to say right now? Bud Light, amazing. Nas, amazing. Together, not good. Not good at all.
I hope you're not putting them.
That's difficult.
Putting them together in that.
That's difficult.
AFTERBUZZ.
There you go. Put them there.
In the cup.
Yeah. Oh no, though. This is my special juice. But you know what? I think that Connor's gonna Holly Holm. He's gonna Holly Holm him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's not gonna be a Holly Holm because Connor is. I mean, there's fair money that Connor's gonna win.
Same finish.
Oh, head kick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Give me a head kick.
Interesting.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I'd like to see it like that.
Well, we'll see what we can deliver.
Plus, better for business. I'm a UFC fan.
Yeah.
So, it's sorry to say, but if I'm running UFC, if I'm Dana, I want Conor to win this fight.
I understand that. Yeah, I think there's no argument that Conor is better for business.
He's a draw. I mean, he could lose once in this stretch, but you don't want him to lose now. You can have him lose later.
I think you really especially want him to lose later on down the road since when it's
the passing of a torch somewhere else.
Yeah, and one of your golden gooses has already fallen off with Ronda.
Yep.
So, fair point.
Yeah, 2 in a row would be bad for the company. I mean, Ronda's next fight is going to make huge money, probably the most she's ever made. Or,
most that the company has ever made, probably as well.
And then if Conor loses, maybe, but he needs a longer run than this. He needs a little longer run than what he's had. So
right.
I'm pulling for him, but I love Jose. He's great, and I'd like to see a competitive fight.
Yeah,
but I'm rooting for Conor, and I think he's going to win.
Nick Miller says 3 of his last 4 fights were finishes. All of Conor's are finished. This will not go the distance, 100% for sure. Fair enough. Jacob Patrick says Nick Diaz for president.
Cool.
I mean, there's still close to a year left, so yeah, we can still make that happen.
Yeah.
Go handle that there, Nick. Or Jacob, sorry. Nick Miller agreed. Nick Diaz for president. These guys are just having fun.
I love it. I love the chat room tonight.
Here. Yeah.
I should jump in. Oh, wait, I am. I'm in it. No, I'm kidding.
All right, man. Well, look, that's about it for
Season 22.
Season 22, another one in the books here.
Kick the hell out of Season 21.
Yeah, absolutely so. I agree with that.
Great season. Pleasure.
We are not brought to you by Nas, but we have brought Nas to you. We are brought to you by Bud Light. Go buy some with your money. Guys, watch...
Pleasure.
Good shit, my friend.
Yeah.
Watch all these fights this weekend, starting tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. I will be back with George Hermosa Sunday to talk about McGregor, Aldo, and possibly the other fights as well. Hopefully you can join us, Juicy Jared.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping work doesn't keep me down.
Right.
Yeah, like always.
Guys, we'll be talking with you. Take off. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bud Light.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.